going to build a universe. It's a huge amount of work. I'm hoping that a lot of you want to be in this universe, because I do.
Once the systems and the server meshing is in place, that's the big development effort. Where we're going in the future, we're going to need a bigger universe that you can just escape into.
Let's be real here. One of the most exciting things in a space game is, well, space. And in some of the biggest titles out there, exploring into new systems is one of the more exciting gameplay dynamics. And for the last 10 months or so, we've gotten our second massive star system in Star Citizen, the Pyro system. And with CitizenCon Direct 2025 coming soon, most of us are all asking the same question. Are we going to get another system this year? CitizenCon is a bit different this time around. Just a small digital event with around 2 hours of content being dropped. And usually in a CitizenCon, we'll see what the development team has been up to and get huge updates on our most anticipated features. In the past, this has been a huge event. Having been to one myself, it's quite an experience. So some may see this as a big downgrade. However, the reason for this is simple. They're wanting to get more things done without the distraction of a large event. Naturally, we're all speculating on what we're going to see this year. From the updates to the Genesis Planetary Tech V5 that should be coming soon, to the updates on the longly awaited social tools that help players interact with each other better. And last but not least, an update on the next system to which we will boldly go, Nyx. Last year, we were shown that the marker for a full release of Star Citizen, also referred to as 1.0, will include 5 initial systems. And we don't have to guess what is next. We have already been shown quite a few sneak peeks of Nyx, and it's been confirmed to be our next jump point from Pyro. Since the implementation of server meshing at the beginning of this year, I personally theorized that we'd be getting at least one system a year. That, of course, was before the change of plan for development this past year, keeping the focus on finishing out Squadron 42, and in the meantime adding playable content and focusing on stability in the persistent universe. Link in the description below if you want to know more about Squadron 42. After the first year or so, I was even expecting multiple systems a year being dropped. Now, you may think that's crazy given the fact it took us 14 years in total for the first 2 systems that we have now. But like I said before, server meshing was a big part of that, and it's opened up resources that will allow for quicker expansion in the future. Star Citizen's developer, CIG, has even come out and stated that the actual creation of new systems don't really take all that long, saying that just building out the planets and moons can take more or less a few weeks. It's all the points of interest and the polish that goes in afterwards that take up the bulk of their time. On a side note, that fact is extremely exciting for the idea of unannounced discoverable systems post 1.0. If they can drop an empty star system that can be discovered by exploration players, well, that might be the most space game thing of all space games, and won't take them too many resources to implement. So it's not too far of a leap to think that once Star Citizen becomes the main focus of the development team again, we could possibly see 2 new star systems a year, especially if they're aiming for the first 5 systems in by 2027 or 2028 for beta testing. And after 1.0, well, they have a lot of them planned. Not to mention the fact that Odin has to more or less be complete as well for the release of Squadron 42. I mean, that's where the bulk of the gameplay is. Then there's the very obvious lead up in the ongoing narrative that CIG has been putting out over the year, clearly indicating that Nyx is where the story's going. If you've missed it in our most recent missions, they've stated a new faction has been smuggling Vandal remains in from Nyx, where the alien menace has been making their presence known as of late. And if you remember, they did a very similar story setup right up to the inclusion of Pyro, and then the new medical editions in game. It seems that they're trying to add a sense of progression to their new releases. That I'm personally a fan of. Okay, so what is Nyx? Nyx is an unclaimed planetary system situated at the border of an unusually dense and dark stellar cloud. It consists of an F-type main sequence star orbited by 3 planets and an asteroid belt. Due to the cloud's interference with navigational equipment, travel through the system is difficult and hazardous. The system's main settlement, Levski, located on a moon-sized asteroid in the Glacium Ring, is considered a haven for humans who wish to live beyond the reach of the UEE law. The people of Nyx originally settled this system during the height of the corrupt measure regime, where a family of dictators had taken over the UEE and handed power down based on familial ties, ultimately leading to hellish government overreach and a downward spiral of economic stability. Opposing the measures usually didn't end well for you, so those that sought to escape the long hand of the UEE Navy settled this relatively unoccupied territory. Nyx isn't as unlawful as Pyro, where the gangs of Pyro run the show. It's more of a neutral system, where outlaws and normal folks alike tend to cohabitate under their own rule. So if you're looking to do some work outside of the legality of the UEE, but you don't like the idea of having to look over your shoulder every 10 seconds, then theoretically, the system should be for you. So the big question, is it likely we will see Nyx this year? Well, it's possible. I fully believe that Nyx by the end of this year was the original intent, but like many things in 2025, the priorities changed. Taking so many more developers and resources than I think even CIG was expecting to finish up Squadron 42, this year wildly changed their release cadence. So we don't know how much time has been put into Nyx, and of course we won't fully know until CitizenCon, but we can take some guesses. The first big hint that it may be showing up this year is all of the allusions to it in their storytelling, clearly telling us that Nyx is coming. From in-game audio recordings to the loading screen newspaper stories, they're pointing to it quite heavily. Secondly, CIG does not keep their head in the sand. They know the frustrations players have been feeling with the lack of new features being implemented this year. Adding a whole new system in less than a year's time can definitely help with the growing frustration the community has had. Might even make many of them switch from mocking the year of playability to praising the increase of frequency for systems. However, like everything when it comes to Star Citizen, we need to keep one foot on the ground. The unfortunate truth is there's a huge possibility we won't see Nyx until the beginning of next year, or even after Q1 of next year. The tech is there, the resources are available. It ultimately comes down to if they've polished Nyx up to the quality that it should be dropped into the verse. And not only polished, but have enough implemented gameplay and points of interest to make it worth having in the game. An empty system is a quick way to turn all that praise into quick criticism. We also have to look at what other things Nyx could potentially require. According to CIG, Nyx is being plagued by occasional Vanduul raids, hence why smugglers are getting their remains to sell off. The implementation of Nyx should also indicate the start of a Vanduul threat to players. So the question is, will they release Nyx without Vanduul, risking players being upset again over a system not including the features promised, similar to Pyro, where we still don't have solar flare pulses and the real gang territory and reputation gameplay? Or will the Vanduul come in with Nyx, possibly doing something that CIG has been avoiding for a while, adding in big things from Squadron 42 to the verse before Squadron's release? We know that CIG is holding things back as to not ruin the experience for Squadron 42, but is this one of those things they would want to hold back? Do they want to implement them now, or do they want us to have the first time we square off with one of these elite menaces in their big single-player campaign? And if they're looking at this new expansion through this particular lens, should they just wait until the release of Squadron 42 to implement a fully fleshed out Nyx? To hit their goals, that might be the best option, but I'm pretty sure that's also the option players would be least happy with, unless Squadron 42 drops in like January. The last little potential ray of hope comes from a recent update from CIG advertising the need for a new specialized testing group from players that requires an NDA. This may be a stretch, but I don't think it would be too outlandish to think that one of the things they want this super secret group of playtesters to test is the addition of Nyx. But that's also just me wearing my little tinfoil hat. If all this talk of star systems and hostile alien races is getting you interested in starting your own journey in the verse, go ahead and use my referral code on screen and in the description below to get yourself an additional 50,000 credits at the start of your journey. And if you're here to the end of the video and enjoyed it, subscribing and liking is 100% free and helps me get my content out there. So what about you? Do you think we're gonna see Nyx this year? Do you think we could see an increase in systems dropping in the verse going forward? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I've been the guy with the generic gamer tag, and I'll see you in the next one.